Welcome to Healers Talk Healing, the podcast where we gather to explore the art and science of holistic healing, uncovering the secrets to a happier, healthier you. I'm your host, Nina Ganguli, and together we will delve into the intriguing world of holistic healing, delving into the mind-body connection, ancient wisdom, and natural remedies. Get ready for enlightening stories, thought-provoking expert interviews, and practical tips that will empower you to unlock your true potential and embrace a vibrant, balanced life. Whether you're an experienced wellness enthusiast or simply curious about the power of healing, join us on this exhilarating journey as we share the wisdom and insights that can truly transform your life. It's time to embark on a voyage towards a happier, healthier you. So, without further ado, let's dive into the captivating world of Healers Talk Healing. Welcome back to Healers Talk Healing. On today's episode, you don't just listen, you get to feel. We're joined by Dr. Emmett Miller, often referred to as the father of mind-body medicine, whose work has shaped how we understand the connection between the mind, stress, and healing. From pioneering guided imagery in the 1970s to teaching that the mind operates like a biocomputer, one that can be reprogrammed, Dr. Miller has spent decades helping people access a deeper level of healing. In this conversation, we go beyond symptoms and into what Dr. Miller calls deep healing. Because what you'll hear in this, most of what we experience physically is not just physical, it's emotional, it's behavioral, it's rooted in stress patterns and unconscious responses that we've been living in for years. And the shift isn't complicated, but it's powerful. It's the ability to pause, to come back to the present moment, to move out of stress and into a state where the body can actually begin to heal. You'll even be guided through a powerful experience in this episode, one that helps you reconnect with peace, with presence, and something deeper within you. So as you listen, give yourself permission not just to hear this, but to experience it. And if you're ready to go deeper into this work, to be supported in your healing journey, I invite you to join our Wellness Seekers membership community. It's where these conversations turn into real ongoing transformation through community, guidance, and shared growth. So let's begin.
All right. So I'm very interested in how you did come to think about and consider mindfulness and the role that it plays in healing.
Oh, okay. It happened very early in my career in the late 1960s. Uh, I began to notice things in my practice of medicine that didn't accord with things that were happening in the field of medicine didn't work for me.
Mhm.
And I started paying careful attention to my patients to see what actually heals and what only manages symptoms. And there's a difference because we have a symptom, which is something we can see, but
Yes.
what's the source of the symptom?
Mm.
We may not be able to see at all.
Mhm.
So a person may be short of breath and tired and drinking a lot and eating a lot and gaining weight and those are all symptoms, but if you look deeper, what it's about the pancreas because the person has diabetes.
Mhm.
And that's the source. And if we can take care of that, so we give insulin to replace what the pancreas isn't giving them,
Mhm.
then then we can have a resolution, down at the level of the symptoms. So I always watched to see what was healing and what wasn't. And and I started using a number of different techniques. And I finally, toward the middle of the 1990s, decided that I would write a book about everything that I had discovered.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and I named the book Deep Healing because I realized that I wasn't writing about medicine as we usually think about it. I was writing about wholeness.
Mhm.
Mm.
Uh, so me give you like a silly example of what happens when a person goes into the emergency room, and let's say that they're vomiting up blood. Well, I guess that maybe a chimpanzee would say, "Oh, he's bleeding. Let's stuff some gauze in his mouth and stop the bleeding." Now, that wouldn't be a good idea. But in a way, that's what we do in Western medicine. We
Mm,
get rid of the surface symptoms, but we don't deal with what's underneath. So most of the time now, what do? If someone's bleeding, we say, coming up, we see what it is. Well, maybe it's an ulcer. We get an X-ray, aha, and we see an ulcer, and we say, aha, now we know it's a bleeding ulcer. That's the disease. So we operate and we cut out the ulcer. We're finished, right?
mm,
No. Why did he have an ulcer? So you ask a few more questions, you find out because he drinks a large bottle of whiskey and eats a bottle of aspirin every single day to get rid of his hangover.
mm.
That's the true cause of his ulcer, right? Because anybody does that's going to get an ulcer. But then you might ask, but why does he drink so much? And if you take the
Ah,
time, you discover that he had cheated his brother out of his share of an inheritance. And now he's racked with guilt and with
mm,
shame. And so that guilt and shame lead him to drink alcohol to deaden the pain, which creates the ulcer, which creates the bleeding. So really, when we want to look at what's the source of it has to do with his behavior and how he's reacting to his own behavior.
mhm,
And, and so the same thing happens with many, many of our diseases. Most of our diseases are either caused by stress or they're brought on by stress. Because you may have you may have some other kind of illness, could be cancer, or it could be muscle spasm from an injury or something like that. You become more stressed, and what do you know? You start having more pain and more discomfort. So stress may actually be at the cause, or it makes things worse when it does come about. So that what you find when you look in the case of many of the things that people have, and also when you want to help a person get well from whatever is happening, you want to take a look at people's emotions, their
mhm,
behaviors, their relationships, and
mm,
their spiritual lives,
mhm,
and how we live, how we love, how we cope, what we believe, and what we feel about our homes and our lives.
mhm,
And if we can deal with the inner stress in our lives, then a large proportion of our illnesses and addictions and unhappiness goes away. And even if you do have an illness or disease, I mean, you can have a stroke and then you've had a stroke. Well, then you're limited in what you can do, but you may be able to quiet the pain. You may be able to increase your ability to move and do things. Sometimes people get a stroke and they get so disappointed by it and they're so frustrated that they stop trying and they get worse. If instead they say, no, I'm going to push through this and do something, and if they have the tool to do it, then they can change. And that's why I call it deep healing, because we're looking below the surface. So the people that I see in my practice and who I've seen in my practice exclusively, I've practiced regular medicine for a number of years, but in 1974, I sold my X-ray machine, all of my medical equipment, because I really didn't need it anymore. People come and we sit and we talk for an hour or two, maybe once or twice or three times, and I'm able to give that person some tools to make major changes in their lives. And
that's beautiful.
and that really creates wholeness.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, so if I'm hearing you correctly, stress can actually come about in emotional stress, say if there's a situation or trauma. It can be in the way of mental stress, maybe being in overwhelm, thinking too much,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. But stress can also happen as a physical stress in the way of an injury
Oh,
or condition. And regardless of that level of stress, it always traces back to something much deeper
yes.
that then we have behaviors and patterns and things of that nature that exacerbate and add to the stress.
Hmm.
And so that's where we have to begin really the healing process.
Right. And the trick about stress is that there's two levels of our mind. We're aware of our minds. We think, where do we go? What do we want to do? What movie do you want to see? Yeah, we're thinking, thinking. And there's another part of the mind that's keeping you breathing, that's balancing the amount of sugar in your blood and oxygen and all those kinds of things. And that's in your unconscious mind, it's the monkey mind, because it looks just like the mind of a monkey. And one thing in that part of the brain, and it's what's called the limbic system, is called the amygdala. It's a very
Oh, yes.
small little organ about the size of an almond,
Hmm.
and it's located deep in here. Now, this part of the brain was majorly important 500,000 years ago. We weren't very smart. And we had one tool. For a million years, humanity had a single tool. It kind of looked like a cone made out of a cut rock. It was used to strip off the inside of a fur of an animal so you could wear it.
Hmm.
Okay, but that was our tool, right? We were very not too smart. However, at that time there were certain dangers around. There were saber-toothed tigers, there were floods, there were landslides, sometimes the cannibals would come chasing you. Things like that happen. And this amygdala was something that learned when you were just growing up, it learned what to be afraid of, what could damage, what could hurt you. So
Hmm.
when this part of the brain believes that you are facing a life or death challenge, then it pumps your body full of adrenaline. You start breathing, your heart starts beating faster. It tenses all the muscles of your body to get ready for fight or flight. It produces cortisol that goes through your body and starts basically dissolving the organs of your body to turn them into glucose so that you can fight like hell
Oh,
for 10 or 15 minutes. That's what it's
okay.
all about. That's stress. And it
Okay. Interesting.
and it is designed to help you protect yourself from physical assailants and to save your life. That's all.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, what happens in the world that we live on? Oh, let's say that I turn on my television and I hear that the President of the United States is having a fight with the Pope or something ridiculous like that. Nothing like that could ever happen, of course,
Of
but
course not. But let's just imagine.
you
Okay.
go, what? You know? Yeah, we're doing what? Yesing's doing that. And we start tensing up. Oh, can we start? And sure enough, we begin to go through a stress response
Hmm.
because this part of your brain believes that what they're seeing there may be life or death. Well, it may be life or death because it might start a nuclear war, bottom line, in
Hmm.
what we're doing. But it's not at this moment.
Right. I was just going to say, okay.
Right? Breathing fast, tensing up your body, and so forth are not helping. Plus, once you do this for a while, of course, you're carried around all day. You have these thoughts, you're worried about this, you're worried about inflation, you're worried about what's going to happen with this, and there's no more childcare for my kid, on and on and on. And every time you think about those things, your body's reacting as if those things were life or death threats. So it doesn't help. And not only it doesn't help you solve the problem, you know. What they're going to do is go in there and say, "Step aside, Mr. Pope, I'll take care of this."
I think some of us would like to, but
we can't. And the
Right, we
other
can't.
and the other thing that it does, and so we're carrying this around all day, and you do that for days and weeks and months and years, the muscles start spasming in here, so you start getting headaches, or you
Mm,
start getting backaches, or you start getting ulcers, or do something like that. So that continued process, whereas again, it's doing no good, it's doing lots of bad. The other thing that it does is when you're in an emergency situation, well, this part of the brain, the amygdala, it shuts off your higher brain because we had a higher brain 500,000 years ago, but this brain didn't understand anything, you know?
hmm
It just was like really stupid. It thought that dipping your arms in a bowl full of blood-sucking animals was going to cure
Oh,
your
yes.
tuberculosis, right? Leeches are going to cure your, we just didn't know. So this part of the subconscious mind turns off your higher mind, which means you can't make good decisions because you can't think clearly. Instead, you're in a state, this tension, it's an internal, and you want something to make you feel better.
hmm
What will make me feel better? I think a glass of whiskey.
Mm.
Oh, I feel a little bit better. Ah, have another one. Oh, yeah, now I really feel better. I think I'll just have one more and then I'll drive home. Because this part of your brain is gone. It's not
It's not
thinking
functioning.
wisely. So that's one of the worst things about stress. So when we're feeling upset about something, it's not because there's anything in our environment that's physically going to heal us or going to injure us in the next few minutes, right? So
hmm
therefore, there's absolutely no need for the tension in your body.
hmm
And so what I learned really early on is I could teach people how to relax their body. As long as you know in your higher mind that you're in a safe place and that you don't need to be tense, that you don't need to speed up your heart, you don't need to do any of those things at all, then you have the possibility of allowing your body to relax thoroughly. And we do that through deep relaxation. Could be through prayer. It could be through um, mindfulness or any kind of meditation. They all do the same thing. Kind of relax the body and let the body feel as comfortable as if uh, that you are as safe as you are.
hmm
And because the things that are frightening you are not what's happening. What's making you tense when you're tense, nervous, anxious, panic, it's not what's going on physically around you. It's what you're remembering of something you heard or saw in the past. It's not in the present. Or
Okay.
it's something you imagine in the future that's scary to you. But that doesn't exist it either. And in fact, the past does not exist. Not even 1 second of the past can ever come back again. There's only one moment in time that exists,
And that's the
and
moment we're in now.
right now. And the best thing that you can do to heal your body, to create success in whatever you're doing, is to have the ability to stop and come into the present moment.
Okay.
And to do that before you make any important decision. Never, 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 never make a decision when you're really angry. Because what happens? I'm so angry. Okay, I quit. Take your job and shove it. Right? And I'm on my way home. Oh my God, what did I
What I
do?
do, I've got to pay the
I,
mortgage tomorrow.
oh, I've had enough. I want a divorce. You know? Yeah. Well, I take it back. I take it back. No, it's too late. Yeah, it's like you
Yes.
make all those bad decisions. Yeah, I just think I'll have another few pieces of pie. Wait, your body doesn't need that, doesn't want it. So
And then that stresses the body more. Just using that as an example, that piece of pie, or in my case, a pint of Haagen-Dazs ice cream,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
body doesn't need, but it stresses the body more, which keeps you in that state of stress.
exactly.
It's a
And
perpetual state of stress then.
what is pushing you to do those behaviors that you don't want to do is a feeling of discomfort inside.
Hmm.
I've got to get away from this discomfort. And then you behave. Or maybe you just say, I'm just going to go in my room and crawl under the covers and not talk to anybody for a week. Okay. I mean, you can do that, but you always create more problems outside by running away when all you have to do is stop and relax. I mean, it's so simple. Uh, it's hard to do because we don't see people doing it. We have not been taught that in school. We have many stories and movies we see where our stars teach us all kinds of bad behaviors. We watch it, we enjoy watching them do these things. Time the unconscious part of your mind is saying, maybe I should start acting crazy like that. So we are programmed to do all of these negative things. And by our culture, we're we're trained to be helpless, which
Mm.
is
Uh,
where
yes.
where our country has been in for the last, I would say, maybe the last 20 or 30 years, it's been an increasing sense of helplessness among
Hmm.
people. And that helplessness has been associated with separation, with our becoming disconnected from each other. And we've been intentionally taught to separate each other. Then along comes the internet and along comes smartphones. And we talk about this. I'll talk about this in some of my webinars and so forth because it's crucially important. And they are teaching us to feel helpless because it's
Yes.
like every advertiser wants us to feel helpless. You're not cute enough. Your car's not cool enough. Your wash day detergent's not doing the best job on your clothes. You're lacking something. You're too short. You're too tall. You're too fat. You're too thin. Right? So there's a message in every commercial that says you are not in the best place that you can be in.
Hmm.
But we've got the answer, right?
That's so true. And then, of course, with all of that happening and going into our brain, and
Hmm.
whether we realize it or not, we are subject to it. And then it again becomes a reverberating effect in all of these ways that's not necessarily healthy for us.
Hmm.
So it does feel, I must say, a little bit like I'm going to go to the furthest corner of the earth where there are green pastures and beautiful trees, a gorgeous lake. I will disconnect from the rest of the world. I'll plant my own food. I will, have my own food source if you're a meat eater or fish, eater or what have you for protein. I'll do these things. I'll get my own generator. And I will be good. And then I can meditate all day and nothing can touch me. It kind of feels like that's what
Go
is
off the grid.
required to go
Yeah,
off,
right.
way off the
Way
grid.
off the grid.
That's right. Yeah,
I'm
it's
laughing because
hard.
I've had those thoughts. Literally, like, okay,
We
so
all have, yes.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
going to
you
start
realize,
growing my own food in the backyard, get a generator, see if I can
yeah,
begin how much I can live off the grid in my own community.
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
And so all of that is running away.
Mm,
It's running away, and it's associated with the fact that we're feeling helpless. We've been trained to feel helpless.
This just continues again to keep people in a state of
Yeah,
dis-ease. That's what I'll say, dis-ease or lack of easement,
that's right.
which is the opposite of stress. And then from what you were saying in terms of how the physical body reacts,
Hmm.
and then when everything turns to sugar or glucose when you're
Yeah,
stressed, no wonder
right.
there's a diabetic epidemic,
Uh-huh.
not only because of patterns and behaviors, but also because of what the body does naturally trying to protect itself. But when you're always in a state of perpetualness with it,
That's right.
then you know, it's like, then how do you not escape the situation, but find that level of peace and easement
Hmm.
that can really help relax the mind,
Hmm.
calm the emotions, stop the monkey brain antics, and allow your physical body to just go, "Ooh, thank you. I needed that rest, that,
Hmm.
calmness." What do we do to start going about helping that?
Mm. Well, you could take a good long vacation on the beach or in the backyard with your
Oh,
with
I
your
like that. I
I
think
like
it's
that
little.
idea.
yeah, picnic in the backyard. Just
Mhm.
doing that for 2 or 3 hours,
Yeah.
once a week might be nice.
And any place, if you don't already have one, you need to find a place of great relaxation and peace. And maybe you to go and literally, yeah, be on the beach for 7 or 14 or 21 days and don't do anything but just sit. Do not read the newspaper. Don't look or talk to anybody who tells you you aren't exactly who you're supposed to be and
Mhm.
that you are exactly the person that you're supposed to be right now, which is true, which is always true. But we don't know that, and so we're trying to be somebody else. But in those places, you can relax. Or perhaps you already have memories of times when you felt really good. It could have been when you're very young. It could have been being held in your mother's arms, if you can remember that. Great. Or it could be at the moment you gave birth and you had, after a long 9 months, this incredibly beautiful person in your arms and
Mhm.
it was like you on top of the world. Or it may have been in church, you may have been praying, you may have been meditating, or just sitting on the top of a mountain and find a sense of peace so that you know what that feeling is like
Okay.
inside.
Okay.
And if you were to tell me about that place, and you were to tell me about the colors and what you were doing and how it felt in your body and how your breathing was. If you told me that, I would begin to feel what you felt because you'd be telling it to me and I'd be open to what you were saying. And likewise, you would begin to feel it as you tell it to me because you are accessing it through our minds. When we get rid of the amygdala, say, shh, 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 quiet. You learn how to quiet that amygdala. And of course, we do that by learning to relax or meditate or go into deep prayer. And what we see is when we look at an fMRI, we see that there are nerve tracks that flow from your prefrontal cortex. That's the
Mhm.
brain's brain. This is the highest part of your brain. This is the executive. This is the part that can analyze and strategize and make plans and compare plans and choose a path into the future and set a goal in that path and not let anything get in. That's what this is. So if you do that and relax on a regular basis, you grow these really thick bands of nerves that go from your prefrontal cortex directly to your amygdala, and they carry gamma aminobutyric acid. It doesn't sound as good as it feels. It is It is wonderful. That's what you feel once you've been sitting out on that beach for a while. That's what your body says. Hey, there's no tigers around. There's no wolves. There's nobody attacking. We can let go.
There's no survival.
That's right. Yeah, you
No
are. That's
survival
it. That's it.
mode. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I mean, even if at that time when you, let's say you knew that you weren't going to survive, um, and it's like the pilot in the plane said, "Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we are going to be making contact with that mountain in front of us in about 1 minute. Nothing we can do about it except return your tray to the full upright position, and bend over and butt your knees and kiss your butt goodbye." If that's said, what are you going to do at that moment? People are going to be yelling and screaming and trying to call people on the phone, and I'll be bedlam in there. I'm going to be sitting there quietly. I'm going to be thinking about a vacation that I had in Hawaii one time at this little pond where there was this high waterfall flowing into this one pond. There was nobody there but me and my wife, and we were incredibly happy.
Hmm.
I'm going to enjoy that. And then I'll think of how much I love her, and I'll think about each of my kids and how much I love them. And I'll think about these wonderful friends that I have and all the beautiful things that have happened to me in my life, the delicious foods I've been able to taste. Oh, and that great granola that my wife made for me last week. Like, boom, and then it's over. That's the way to go. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
that's it's
It also, from what you were saying, and as you were describing that, it's moving your perspective,
uh-huh.
your mind into a place of joyfulness, true
Yeah.
joyfulness and love. And
Yes.
in that place, everything else that happens after that moment continues to be an aspect, if you allow
Uh-huh.
it to be
Uh-huh.
joyful.
Yeah.
And then the next, perspective, or where the mind goes into those places,
Yeah.
it then continues to bring the feeling of love.
Exactly.
And so what I'm gathering is meditation helps strengthen that area, which also, as you were discussing it,
Uh-huh.
I just want to make sure I have this clearly.
Uh-huh.
And you relax your body, you don't have as much tension, you don't have as much stress, you're able to stay in a place again of more joyfulness and love. And so as your body continues to mature, you don't have to have the
Hmm.
stress, the tension, the heart not pumping correctly,
Yeah.
and other situations that actually bring about what many people say, oh, they lived to be 95, they lived a long
Hmm.
time in the ripe old age. And I've always, in my own mind, disputed it a little bit,
Hmm.
because I'm like, because the cells regenerate, every 7 years or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
Imagine 7 years of just peace and ease and joy, and
Yeah.
staying in that frame of mind, in that
Hmm.
consciousness, strengthening that with meditation. And in my
Hmm.
experience, I have relatives who have lived well over 100 without canes, without
Hmm.
wheelchairs, who, without having strokes or cancer or what have you. And so I think to myself, well, 95 is not really that old. That's just hitting
Right.
an elder space
Right. Right.
because they may still have another good 10,
Yeah.
15 years left on them,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Well, that's
and
your frame
so
of reference, because as a
there's
side
I know
note, your elderlies all live quite long.
they do. However, yes, and everyone goes, "Oh, that's great genetics." I'm like, "Yes, but it's more than that." And so, as you're speaking, Dr. Miller, I'm hearing that again, mindfulness
Hmm.
is so much the key
Yes.
to how we're able to move forward and live longer, even with all of the different energies and aspects outside of
Hmm.
ourselves in the
Hmm.
world that we live in today,
Hmm.
where we are constantly being placed in a way of thinking that we have to be afraid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what I'm hearing you say, is just really staying in that space. And I'm with you. If a pilot, no, not if, I will not be in that situation.
Yeah.
However, in that example that you gave, yes, I
Right.
would do the same thing you do. What can you do in a minute? You couldn't even get your cell phone out in a minute. You couldn't
Yep.
even make the phone call in a minute. The only thing you
Hmm.
can do is take control
Hmm.
of yourself and where you choose to be in that present moment,
Uh-huh.
in your perspective, in this physical body that you still have,
Yes.
and move that way, move
Right.
forward that way.
Right. And it may not be a pilot going into a mountain. It could be, well, you're in an automobile accident, maybe you lose your legs. So you say, okay, I can't do things with my legs I used to do. Hey, but I got my hands. And
Yes.
and you deal with wherever you are at that
Mm-hmm.
moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's wherever you are to be able to be at peace, and then you take that with you wherever you go. Maybe I should do maybe a little bit of imaging just to give a sense of what it might be like
That
for
would
a
be great.
person to
I
Yes.
was just
reset it.
about to ask. I'm like, where do you find these keys to the kingdom? Where
All
are
right.
the keys?
He's getting ready to
Okay.
give you one right now.
Yep. You find it wherever you can let your body be at this moment, be in a comfortable place as much as possible to where you don't have to do anything physical to support your body, just as if you're going to sleep or relax, and let yourself be in that place. Start with your eyes open and choose a point over on the ceiling opposite you to focus your attention. Remember, that's the highest part of your mind. That's the part that focuses your attention. And tell your eyes you're going to stay spark right on that point. And they try to move away, but you keep them there. You are focusing your attention. And as you're looking at that point, let yourself become aware that you're in a very safe place right now. There's no other place that you need to go. There's nothing else that you need to do. There's no problem that you have to solve. There's no emergency. So you can give yourself permission to relax. And by relaxing, I simply mean letting go. And you may notice that even that spot that you're looking at sort of fades off into a blur. And that's okay because you don't need to be seeing what's outside at this moment. In fact, you may find your eyes blinking a little more often, giving you signals that they would like to close. And when you're ready, allow your eyelids to close themselves. And behind your closed eyelids, let your eyes gently roll upward till you're looking upward toward the back of your forehead. And imagine you can see the word love written on the back of your forehead. And as you see that word love, just notice what thoughts come to your mind. You're in a comfortable, safe place. Good. And as you focus there on the back of your forehead, notice how relaxed your eyelids become. So relaxed that if you test them, you notice they'll resist being open. They're so relaxed. And as you do that, let the relaxation from your eyelids flow throughout the rest of your body, like ripples flowing outward from a stone thrown into the quiet surface of a still pond. Ripples of relaxation through your face. Feel your neck relaxing, your shoulders and your arms, all the way down to your fingertips. And as the relaxation reaches your fingertips, you may notice a little tingling or warmth. Take a deep breath in, draw the relaxation from your fingertips up into the center of your chest. And as you let that breath out, think to yourself the words, "It breathes me." With each breath out, think the words, "It breathes me." Because there is a deep wisdom within you that breathes you all night long. Let yourself go and let yourself sink into that little pause after you've breathed out and before the next breath begins itself. Let yourself sink down into that pause. That's the quietest time of all for all your mind and body. And let that relaxation flow through your chest and your belly, down through your legs, right out through the tips of your toes. And any time any unnecessary thoughts come along, you can let those thoughts go. Thoughts about the past or about the future. Remember, the past doesn't exist and never can exist again. The future has never even been here. There's only one moment, and that's this moment here, that you feel so clearly as you sink into that little pause, here and now. And any time an unnecessary thought comes along, breathe it out with your next breath out. Let your next breath in, breathe in cleansing air to cleanse your mind. And let yourself float as though you're floating through time and space. Let yourself travel to one time in the past, the kind of time I was talking about a little while ago, when you were in touch with something very beautiful, in touch with love like a newborn baby, or love when you witnessed something beautiful at sunset, when you were with people that you love, when you were on a beautiful vacation or in a deep meditation or in prayer. Where is it that you go? Let yourself travel there now and picture this place around you, just as if you were telling me the story. See the colors. Touch anything that you're touching. Feel its texture. If there are sounds in the air, hear the sounds. And if there's someone that you love, or a being that you love, or a sacred spirit that you feel, allow yourself to be in touch with that. And know that this moment lives forever within you. And as you give yourself more and more permission to feel these joyful moments of your wholeness, of your health, of the peace that you can experience inside when you learn to tell your undermind, your monkey mind, to be at peace, to tell your amygdala to rest. Go to this safe place. Feel the joy. Feel the love. That's it. And here in this safe and relaxing place, just to be aware of the many, many gifts you have in your life. Your ability to see, to hear, to walk, to dance, to taste, to love your family, your community, to experience those you love and those who have loved you. Focus on the positive things that you feel grateful for in your life. In your mind, think the words, "I accept myself exactly as I am. I feel deep gratitude for all those gifts I have been given. And I give myself permission to be open to the experience of love. And as each breath breathes me, I can feel love being breathed into my body. Because each new breath is a new awakening of life and love and spirit. Let it flow throughout your body. And feel where you feel that feeling of love most deeply in your body. And as you breathe into this place in your body, let it carry that love throughout every cell of your being. Imagine that love fairly streams forth out through the tips of your fingers and through the tips of your toes, through each thing and each person and each animal you touch. Love flows from your body into theirs, for those you embrace, for those you speak to. See the love pour forth. No need to judge or criticize. No need to struggle or fight with anyone. You can accept the world exactly as it is because this is the only way that it can be at this moment in time. Your choice is to accept it and love it and be, or to fight against it and suffer, which is always a choice that's available to you. You make the kind of choice that you want to make. And envision yourself later on today or tomorrow or next week. Imagine yourself carrying this feeling of love with you wherever you go, in acceptance of each thing that happens. Should a true emergency come along, don't worry. You will wake up to it immediately. And then you can use your stress to fight or get away. And as soon as you're safe, close your eyes and take your awareness inside. Come back to your special place inside. Feel the sense of peace. Feel the love, because it is the essence of who you are. And feel your ability to give and your openness to receive. You know when someone's for real. And you know when a gift is being given with love. And you can open and embrace it. And now picture yourself looking as healthy and as well as you can imagine. Dressed the way you love to be dressed. Doing something you really like doing, maybe with someone you really enjoy being with. Picture your body. Picture your body really healthy and vigorous, filled with life energy, and feeling love for everything you do, and a continued deep sense of gratitude for every moment, including this one. And remember, each time you picture yourself the way you really want to be in the future, you become more and more this person in the present, because this is the person you already are down deep inside. Let that person fill you and allow yourself in your own time and speed to come back to the place where your body is resting comfortably, bringing with you all the peace, all the comfort, and all the love. And know that it's always there within you. And when you're ready, then allow your eyelids to open. Deep breath in as you let it out. Fully wide awake. And take a moment and notice how comfortable you feel.
Very comfortable.
And that's basically it. Do that 2 or 3 times a day. Every time you do it, you're strengthening that set of nerves going into your amygdala, and you're gaining control over it. The same way as if you start exercising a muscle.
Mhm.
Yeah, it gradually gets stronger and stronger, and it can lift with ease things that you couldn't even pick up before. In the same way, as you learn that, and any time during your life when you feel yourself getting upset or angry or frightened or feeling guilty or alone or scared or ashamed or negative or helpless or suspicious or resentful, any of those kind of negative feelings, they are all part of a life or death system of feelings, but there's no life or death going on right now. Take that breath and let it go and come down to that peaceful place. And you'll know, because you've practiced this, you'll know when you're there. And as soon as you're there, now your higher mind can be in control. And you say to yourself, what would be the wisest thing that I could do right now? And
Mhm.
then tell yourself, do it. And then watch yourself do
Well, thank you.
No.
Thank you. I know exactly what I'm going to do
There you
as
go.
we end the program.
You, you don't have to tell us. You don't
I'm
have
not
to.
going, I will not share, but it definitely will be the wisest thing I could do in this moment and today. So,
There
Mm.
you go. There you go.
yes, thank you.
So good
Thank you
being with you.
so much.
Okay. We'll see you again. We have a couple more podcasts and some webinars
We do.
coming up, right?
Indeed,
Yes.
indeed, we do. So just building on this conversation is lovely. And, I want to, of course, let everyone know that the best gift of all of these podcasts will be that time when we get to spend live time with you at the end of June, right?
Mhm.
We'll be there on the third Sunday of June. And
Uh-huh.
I will bring up my handy dandy calendar, which is the 21st of June. We get to spend that time with you, and all
Uh-huh.
the information will be available in our show notes and on our website. And we're so excited to have these wonderful conversations and get more deeper into this wonderful gift that we have
Yeah.
Yes.
us
Excellent.
to
Yes.
have that control, to be in that. I'm so relaxed right now. I don't know what to say.
No, I feel the same way. I am so relaxed. I am just, this has been a true gift. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the workshop. And this is one key. We will receive others, and when we get to the workshop,
Yeah.
it will be mind blowing in the best and most
Mhm.
positive way.
Thank you once again.
Thank you
And if
so much.
anyone has any questions, anything they want, you can always comment on these, send us messages. We will make sure that we get you supported. And these kind of great conversations can extend not only in
Yeah.
the workshops, but in our wellness community as well. So check us
Yes.
Excellent.
out, get
Okay.
involved. And we're so excited for our next conversation, Dr. Miller. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Healers Talk Healing. We hope you've been inspired and empowered on your holistic healing journey. If you've enjoyed today's episode and want to continue learning and growing with us, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review our podcast. Your feedback and support mean the world to us. Remember, healing is a lifelong journey, and you have the power to transform your life in profound ways. Stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop believing in your own capacity for healing.